Vladimir Putin showed up on Russian TV a few minutes before the turn of the year. Putin addressed his speech to Russian citizens and to whom he called dear friends. He started with
Уважаемые граждане России,
Respectable citizens of Russia, dear friends.
Putin is using some people wearing military uniform as a background. This whole speech is fake, and it is pronounced by a fake president. Putin is a fake president because in reality he is not a president. He is an autocrat, a tsar, or a monarch. There is a puppet parliament in Russia, but Putin makes all the major decisions by himself. The Russian parliamentarians just applaud, admire, agree, and approve. So this Tsar puts himself in front of a group of fake soldiers and he goes,
уважаемые граждане России,
Respectable Russian citizens.
So Putin says that he respects the Russian citizens. Yes, he respects the men whom he forced to become killers in Ukraine and to die there, the widows whose husbands will never come home from Putin's special operation, the pensioners who are receiving a pension of 20,000 rubles a month, which is equivalent to $300 American. Yes, of course, Putin respects all of them, and he calls them
дорогие друзья.
Dear friends.
These soldiers in the background must be fake, at least most of them. This man obviously is not a trained soldier, though maybe this is normal for the Russian army, and this is one of the reasons that the Russian army loses in the field. This guy is not Russian, but rather Asian, like Kazakh, or Uzbek, or Kyrgyz. Wherever this character is from, he is not looking happy, but rather gloomy. Anyway, Putin himself is not looking joyful either. A new year is supposed to be a fun and joyful celebration, but this time there is nothing to celebrate in Russia. Putin is actually conveying this message with this gloom look. Still, he is a great actor. In this situation, after a whole year of dismal failures, Putin still has the nerve to act like everything is okay. He has ruined 2022, and he is not changing his course of action. So he is doomed to ruin 2023 even worse. There are 3 rows of people in this performance, but the upper row is cut. We cannot even see the whole faces of them. Well, they are really
Уважаемые граждане России,
Respectable citizens of Russia.
as Putin calls them. It seems those guys with the partially cut faces in the upper row are respectable but not respected. Anyway, they probably are to be sent to Ukraine as cannon fodder, so they are already pre-cut. Respectable yet not respected citizens of Russia. Intentionally or not, this symbolizes that Putin considers Russian soldiers some kind of a mass rather than persons. Russian troops are cannon fodder to him. Cutting their faces in the TV screen, like with a butcher's axe, is not a big deal for Putin, because their whole bodies can be cut into pieces in Ukraine soon. This is why Putin considers normal cutting the faces of the soldiers in the New Year address. He didn't notice anything wrong with this and let this video air on the Russian TV. Some of those actors are even decorated with medals, temporarily of course, only for the time of the performance. So this is a theater in which Putin is playing the main role. But what kind of play is it? A comedy, a tragedy, a farce? However, the stage director has not done a great job here, or they forgot to hire a costume designer. They messed up some of the uniforms. Some of the soldiers are wearing wrong outfits. This combination of infantry jackets and marine shirts is impossible in the real army, but they put some of the actors into infantry jackets and marine shirts at the same time. This combination of clothing is irrational, but presumably it was approved by the irrational speaker of this event. Yes, Putin is above the law and the rules, including the army uniform regulations. This theatrical play is a combination of a comedy, a tragedy, and a farce. Putin is playing the main character here. So, this is the first time ever that Putin is addressing Russians on the New Year Eve with soldiers behind him. But why? And what is this supposed to mean? What message do the soldiers convey? These soldiers in the New Year 2023 address mean that Putin is going to keep the war running the whole year 2023. Putin is not going to terminate the war soon. This military background can be interpreted as Putin's New Year resolution to keep the invasion in Ukraine running the whole year 2023, or most of the year 2023. Putin is giving us this message. It is a visual message, not a verbal one.